Had a nice couple of days off, day off from this class and day off from classes yesterday. So we're gonna get started with just some reminders. So real quick, I do this with my freshmen and they never play along and it's really sad. So I'm gonna do it with you guys instead. Fun fact of the day, go in the chat. I want to know what your favorite road trip or travel snack is, and I'll explain why I'm asking this bizarre question in a couple of minutes. But while you're doing that, I'm going to go over a couple of real quick reminders. That small score assignment, some of you have gotten it in already and gotten it like out of the way, so awesome. The rest of you really do try and get that in. It's not going to take that long. I think the culminating video length is like 2 minutes if you do the whole thing sort of in one fell swoop. So it's not a huge assignment, but it's enough to be a pain if you wait until the last minute and get stuck with it. So that's point number one. Point number two, assignment two, which is the big song, that is also up and ready. A couple of you have handed it in, but I would like to see a couple more roll in the next few days. Again, just to get it off your plate. One of the options is a piece that we used for sight reading the other day. And then last but not least, the transcription assignment is going live this afternoon. So keep your eyeballs peeled for that in the coming hours. Okay, I'm going to scope out your responses. Checksmith's got 2 votes. Okay. The reason I asked this, we actually did go, the reason I was gone, we were down in Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky for a couple of weddings. And on the way down, my go-to road trip snack is Sour Patch Kids. And I didn't think much of it. And we got into my sister-in-law's house the night that we drove there. And I went to brush my teeth and the whole lower side of my mouth was like so sensitive. And so I thought I actually like did something. I didn't realize. I called my dentist the next morning and she said, like, did you do anything weird? Did you get hit? Did you eat anything different? I was like, well, I did eat like a family-sized bag of Sour Patch Kids. And she started laughing. She's like, yeah, you definitely messed up your gums for a couple days. So if you do like the sour snacks, don't go too hard on them. Your teeth will be really sensitive for about 4 days, speaking from experience. Okay, cool. What's on tap for today? We're going to do some modulation warm-ups, and then we're going to really kind of hammer this idea of modulating using scale degree 1 turning into 3 and vice versa. We're going to learn a new modulation technique, and it's one that you'll see in a couple of the songs for this unit. And then we'll do a little bit of rhythm canon, and then if we've got time, a little bit of just kind of messing around with 3 against 4. Okay. Let's do a little just easy peasy warm up to start. So this progression up here is familiar-ish. That's something that we've done in some iteration or another multiple times in the past couple of classes. So just real quick kind of review for your baseline. We're going to have 1, 4, you're going to stay on 4, 3, and then that 3 becomes 1 in our new key. Our 6th chord is 6-1-3. It's in first inversion. So that 1 will be in the bass, and then you've got 7, 1 to finish. So this will take us to the minor mediant key when everything is said and done. What I'd like to do is actually slow this down a fair amount. We are going to nix the triplets with 7th chords. So we're just going to do everything at a nice steady pace. Don't worry about conducting. So this will no longer fit into a meter, but we're going to take it a little bit slower so that you can really kind of settle in and make sure that you're tuning everything appropriately and all of that fun stuff. Okie doke. So let's go through and sing that top progression nice and easy. Let's see how you go. Ready, and 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 4, 6, 1, 2, 1, 6, 4. Same bass. 4, 5, 7, 2, 7, 5, 4, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3. Now your pivot. 1, 3, 6, down a half step. 7, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 7. Minor triad. 3, 5, 3, 1. Okay, so a couple things to keep in mind, and we'll do that one more time. When you are going from here to here, remember that that's a half step, so we're singing off of leading tone 7. So keep that in mind as you make that transition. Singing the pivot chord isn't the hard part. It's always the chord after the pivot and making it kind of settle into the new key that is difficult. Can we try one more time? I'm not going to sing this time, but I'm going to play you block chords towards the end of each harmony. Ready, and. Now your 6th chord. Half step down. Okay, scale 1 to 10, how did we do? Hopefully these types of modulations are getting a little bit easier now that we're kind of annoyingly hammering them on a regular basis. Okay, cool. Awesome. So just if you like having kind of keys on things for reference, so we started in F major, and we ended up in A minor. And one thing I wanted to talk about was how we transition our scale degrees. So in this particular progression, if we're going from F major, so F is 1, to A minor, that scale degree 1, that F, then if you think about A minor, what scale degree F would be, our 1 has become scale degree 6 with that particular modulation. Now 1 and 6 are related by third. Depending if it's major or minor, that will change whether it's a major or minor third, but they're related by some flavor of a third. We've spent already a lot of time on third relationships and third modulations, mediant modulations. We're going to continue to do that. And we're going to play around with this idea of kind of cycling through minor thirds. So what I'm going to have you guys do, we're going to establish a key. So we're going to sing a minor triad, and then we're going to turn that tonic into 3, and then sing ourselves down 3, 2, 1 in minor to find our new tonic. And we're going to just kind of keep doing that. So as a reminder before we start then, in minor, 3, 2, 1, you're going to have a half step first, and then a whole step. So I'll do the first one with you, and then I'm going to kind of send you on your own to an extent and just check you at the end of each little transition. So we're going to sing a minor triad, and then we're going to turn 1 into 3, sing down 3, 2, 1, and then sing that new minor triad. Let's see how we go. Just sing on everything on numbers. So ready, and 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Now turn this into 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. This becomes 3, 3 down a half step, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Do this one without me. 3. One more. 3. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. So, I'm going to put keys on this to show you something. So the first one we sang was F minor. And then F, down a half step, down a whole step. We landed on D minor. And then D, half step, whole step. We were on B minor. B, half step, whole step. G sharp minor, A flat minor, whatever you like. And then A flat, half step, whole step. We actually ended up right where we started. So we cycled through a chain of minor thirds, and we landed right back where we started after 4 of them. Which brings me to our topic of the morning, or one of our topics, which is using the fully diminished 7th chord as a pivot. Now you're going to get to this in theory if you haven't already, so I'm going to give you like the super Cliff Notes version since you'll get more of it in theory. If you had me in theory or skills last semester, I probably like yammered about this at some point because it's super cool and fun. But let's take any fully diminished 7th chord. It is just a series of stacked minor thirds, right? So the one I'm playing right now, B is on the bottom, D, F, and A flat. If I put another minor third on top of this, I have come back to where I started. So the fully diminished 7th chord splits the octave evenly into 4 pieces. That means that it can actually be enacted as a really cool pivot chord. If I play you this sonority and ask you to tell me in a vacuum, just as it is, what inversion it's in, by hearing it, you have no idea, because it's a completely symmetrical construction. The only way you know what inversion this is in is by how it resolves. That tells you orally who the root is. Now, if it's on paper, then you get to look at it and say, okay, this is spelled this way, so this pitch must be the root. But just your ears with no context, you're kind of just lost in a bubble until it resolves. Which means that these become really cool wormholes into new key areas and into somewhat distant key areas. So that harmony I just played you, B, D, F, A flat. If B is the root, that's acting as a 7-7, and it'll resolve to some flavor of C. But if D is the root, and it's acting as the 7-6-5, it'll resolve to some flavor of an E flat. If F is the root, it will resolve to some flavor of G flat. And last but not least, if A flat is the root, or G sharp, it would probably be spelled, it will resolve to some type of A major, or A minor. So this one sonority can resolve to 8 different places, right? 4 roots, major or minor. So it becomes a really, really cool option for a chromatic pivot. And you're going to see that in at least 2 of the pieces for this unit. I know the Swan does it, and Dalla Sua Pace does it as well. So you're going to see it at least once. So let's talk about how we might go about singing through that. If you haven't gotten to a common tone fully diminished 7th chords in theory, you will get there soon. If you have, then you don't have to worry about what I'm about to say. If you haven't, all it means is it is a harmony that you don't have to worry about putting a Roman numeral on. The CT means common tone. It means that the 7th of this chord connects to the root of the harmony next to it. That's all. You don't need a Roman numeral for it. We're not even going to sing it on numbers. We're just going to like sing it on a syllable. But all it means is that the 7th of this common tone diminished 7th chord connects to the root of a harmony next to it. It becomes a cool way to pivot into new keys. So let's sketch out the baseline of what we're dealing with here. We start out super easy, 1, 7, 1. I'm going to build this common tone diminished seventh chord off of tonic. And this is what the swan does. If you choose that as one of your pieces, this is one of the modulations. So we are going to then take this, we're gonna be in B flat, so we'll take our 1, and then we are just going to stack minor thirds on top of it to build a fully diminished seventh chord. Now, like I said, you do not have to sing it on numbers. You can just sing 1 and then a neutral syllable for the other 3 pitches. But then, when we re-sing it as our pivot chord, now we are going to put numbers to it. So let's just refresh our memories. A 7 fully diminished 7 chord in numbers, in root position first, is going to be 7, 2, 4, and 6. And remember that the 6 is borrowed. So we're going to a major key. That means we have to borrow the 6. So it is, in fact, a flat 6 to make that quality fully diminished versus half. Now, since we are in the last inversion, that means 6 is going to be in the bass. Now, real quick, a 5-7 is 5-7, 2-4. So the only thing that changes from that fully diminished seventh chord, from that 7-4-2 to your 5-7, the only thing you have to do is move the bass down by half step. That's it. All other 3 pitches stay the same. So that should hopefully help you lock in that 5-7 a little more. So your bass is going to be flat 6, 5, and then 1. So can we try this? We're gonna go B flat. Again, really nice, easy, slow tempo. I will play the whole thing with you, and I'm going to even slow it down more when we get to the common tone diminished seventh chord, so you can really feel and think about and tune those minor thirds. Okay, I'll shut up now. Ready, and 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 7, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 7, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Now all minor thirds here. 1, now switch to numbers. 6, 7, 2, 4, 2, 7, 6. Just your bass moves. 5, 7, 2, 4, 2, 7, 5. Now resolve. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Okay, so we went then from B flat major to start to D major at the end. Now, we could have just as easily gone to D minor, right? Because the 7 fully diminished 7 chord and the 5 chord are actually shared between parallel major and minor. So we could have just as easily gone to D minor. The only thing that would have actually changed is the very last harmony. Okay, can we do that again? We'll go the same tempo, so nice and easy, and I want you to really, really focus in on that common tone diminished 7th chord, spelling all of those minor thirds. Ready, and 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 7, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 7, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Big chain of minor thirds. 1. Now numbers. 6, 7, 2, 4, 2, 7, 6. Bass only. 5, 7, 2, 4, 2, 7, 5, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Okay, scale of 1 to 10. How was that? Your first foray into common tone diminished 7 modulations. How did that go? Okay, cool. Sweet. All right. These are really fun, and we will continue playing around with them. So just to kind of reinforce this idea, this one is even more explicit because we pivoted right over the chord that has scale degree 1. So in this modulation, 1 turned into flat 6. So we went to the major mediant, and scale degree 1 became flat 6 rather than diatonic 6. Okay, cool. Let's do a little bit of rhythm stuff. Let's try and do an aural canon. So we'll go in 2/4. You'll come in a bar after me, and let's see if you can just do this without having the notation in front of you. So tempo will be about here. 1, 2. Ta 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 ta. So let's try it. You are a measure behind me. See how much you can get. 1 and 2. Ta 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 ta. All right, cool. Let's do it one more time. And if you feel, so if this has gotten to the point where it's pretty easy for you, try and tap what I'm doing while you're tying what you're doing. That brings a difficulty level from like, if this feels easy, it'll bring it from a 2 to like a 25. So try, if this feels easy and fine, try and tap what I'm doing while you're tying what you're doing. 1 and 2. Ta 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 ta. Okay, we have a little bit of time actually, so I wanted to do one more thing. This was kind of my bonus if we had time to do. This looks really chaotic. It took a stupid long time to make, but it's not as crazy as it looks. We are going to conduct in 4 and ta the green lines. So the purple we'll talk about in a second, but you don't have to perform it. So the first line is just a stream of triplets. The second line, you'll notice the note heads alternate between green and blue and pink. You are going to group your triplets according to color. So if it's more helpful for you to think of it this way, you are going to accent on the new colors every time. So by grouping them this first way, you're grouping intos against the triplet subdivision. So in essence, then, the purple is telling you you're creating this sense of quarter note triplets. And in the bottom system, you're going to group in 4s. So rather than 2, you are going to accent or group in some way groupings of 4 against the triplet. I would like to eventually get this pretty quick, but for right now, we'll take it at a nice manageable tempo. I can zoom a smidge more, if that helps. Okay, so let's see how you go. We'll take it nice, easy tempo, so we're going to do basically 3 lines. You don't have to perform the purple. Tempo about here. 1 and a 2, ready, go. Ta 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 Okay, scale of 1 to 10, how did that go? Because if it went okay, we're going to bring the tempo up because it's pretty fun when it's faster. All right. Cool, 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 cool. All right. Let's do it that tempo one more time, and then for funsies in the last minute, we're going to just do it a little faster. So here you go. Same thing. 1 and 2. Ready, go. Ta 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 Okay, last minute. Let's try a little bit faster. The hardest part, I think, is just catching your breath and not losing where your accents need to be when you try and catch your breath. Let's try back here. So if you totally crash and burn, it's fine. This is the last 2 minutes of class, so we're just kind of having fun. 1 and 2, ready, go. Ta 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 All right, fine. So, the reason we've explored this 3 against 4 at various tempos and various subdivision levels. So if you get down to this third system, that's where we really get the 3 against 4. So that's when we're taking the triplets, we're grouping them in 4s. We're, in essence, creating these half-note triplets in the bar of 4/4. The Strauss piece that you're going to have for Unit 2, it expresses 3 against 4 and 3 against 2 at various levels. So we're trying to kind of expose you to all different types of polyrhythms and all different types of layerings. So that you sort of get used to it. I know I said I was going to bring the Chariots of Fire soundtrack in. I totally forgot. I will bring that on Thursday because that's a really good example of 3 against 4 just like sitting on top of one another for a consistent long period of time. So that'll be fun for us to play around with. Okay, so just to remind you then, get your small score assignment in. I promise it's quick. If you have questions about the transposing instrument stuff, just ask me. Shoot me an email or come to office hours. I'm happy to walk you through it. Sometimes hearing it in a different way can help clear things up. The big song assignment, that's the one that is going to take more of your time. Watch the appropriate videos. So there are videos for each of them. They tell you exactly what you need to do as far as sing on numbers here, sing on solfege here, transpose for tenor clef, whatever it is. So you've got to watch the videos to know what you got to do. The one thing I will say about the small score assignment, it uses Florence Price's Abraham Lincoln Walks at Midnight. Let me see actually if I have it up. I hope I don't give anyone vertigo as I flip through this really quickly. But I've gotten a couple assignments and a few people made the same mistake. So it's worth then me repeating. This score is tall. And by tall, I mean it takes up the whole page. So we have measure numbers actually notated in here. So measure 15, we actually put it all the way down the score to reinforce the fact that measure 15 is really the whole page. So this score is the length of the entire page. So what I had some people accidentally do was kind of split the score here, and they spoke me the rhythm for this as if it were one system and this as if it were another system. It really is that tall, guys. It really is the whole page. So keep that in mind. That means it's actually shorter than you think it is. But I just wanted to make that clear because I had a couple people do that. So I figured it was worth saying. All right, we are right at 9:30, so I will let you guys go. If you got questions, hang out or ask me in an email or come to office hours. Otherwise, it was nice to be back. Nice to see you again, and I will see you guys on Thursday.